Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and you are listening to Incompetent Nerds. But before we start, leave some comments in the comment section. Also, like us, download, the podcast, put it on your phone, be interactive with us.
Leave a review. Do anything you can to support your boys, because we out here just making content.
Right. We're just trying to entertain everybody and give them a little knowledge, But today I just wanted to just have a normal conversation with the buddies, with the guys.
How do you define normal?
I mean, it's normal compared to us, opposed to like the rest of the world, I suppose.
Sure.
But, all right, so tell me why. All right, so Saturday, no, I believe it was Friday, I was going bowling with my girlfriend, right?
Sure.
And we all suck in fucking bowling.
Yeah.
And I'm so goddamn old, I like popped my arm like the first time I ever yeah.
Oh, man.
My shit popped and it was so bad, my like fingers were tingling and shit like that.
So,
and you want to know what I did as a goddamn man?
Mm-hmm.
I kept goddamn bowling, and I made that shit worse.
I love it.
So, D, let me get this straight. So, did it pop, lock, and then you dropped it?
Hell yeah.
I don't think... Is anybody good at bowling?
Oh, so you guys know...
Like, if you're not a professional, like, nobody's good at bowling.
Yeah, but you know my guy, Chaos?
Yeah, Chaos Brian.
Yep. That motherfucking cat has his own bowling shoes. I'll never forget. I went bowling first time with this mofo, and throughout all of our years, he came up to visit me, and there's a bowling alley not that far.
Because he lives on the south side, right? You don't get to see him a lot.
Yeah. So he comes up to the north side. We go to a bowling alley, and we got in the car, park, we all get out, and as we're walking to the door, he goes, "Oh shit, I almost forgot." He goes and opens his trunk, bowling shoes. He has his own pair of bowling shoes. Bro, we play. This motherfucker damn well didn't strike what's it called? Strike a win a perfect game. Yeah,
perfect game, like 13 strikes.
Yeah, he didn't, get that, but this motherfucker had well enough, like 6-7 strikes.
God damn.
So that's a professional in my opinion. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if you got your own shoes, because I thought about it. No one likes wearing other people's shoes. That kind of freaks me out a bit. But I never bought them though. I just looked. But if you're going out of your way to buy them, that's some dedication.
Dude, like playing against him, because I never forget, it was me, his woman, my girl. It was me, him, his woman, and my girl. And me and my girl were just like, this is some straight bullshit. Never compete against a motherfucker who has their own shoes. And now he's working on getting his own ball.
Was his wife good too?
She was pretty decent, but me and her both have carpal tunnels. She has carpal tunnels in both hands. I have carpal tunnels in my right hand. So, of course, I bowl with my right hand. Dude, I was already done by the time we hit, like, the third
frame.
Yep, third, fourth frame. I was already done, and his wife was already struggling. And my girl was just horrible getting gutters. And we're all just laughing because I'm getting a couple gutters, too. I'm like, man, somebody put up the motherfucking bumpers. Come on, this is bullshit.
Right.
And my boys is fucking straight shot down the lane. Bing, bing, bing. I was like, fuck you, bro.
Right. Why didn't he, like, dumb himself down and just hit, like, 2 gutters at least or something? Make everybody feel better.
No, hell no. He ain't that type of person.
No, but yeah, that's a good point. Are you guys competitive when it comes to stuff like that?
Sometimes we are.
Like, if I was good at something, like, I'm going to give you my best. Like, I'm not going to hold back.
No, I agree with that, but I'm not really competitive in stuff that I don't really know a lot about. I just don't try to get my emotions invested.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
That night?
Yeah. I actually fuck with darts, though.
So do I. That's different. I get real competitive. You were getting real competitive with darts.
You guys know how to play darts? I love darts.
Yeah.
We gotta all play darts together. We gotta figure this shit out.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Yeah, me and D went to, is it Flight Club?
Flight Club.
Ooh, that's a cool dart hangout spot.
Dude, it's amazing because I think D, you went to that joint before, and thank you, honey. You went to that joint before,
Right.
and I think that was the first time you took Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle Obama. Shout out to
Michelle
Michelle
Obama. Shout
Obama.
out to Michelle Obama. AKA that's D's girl.
You know, not Barack isn't.
D.
Barack is not in there. Just
He's
me.
he's in Palm Springs. He's hanging out in Cali.
Exactly.
Plants.
So me and Michelle, we do our thing. It's all good. Shout out to Michelle.
So we're playing, and I was hungry. D was already turned up at the bar by the time we got there. I think you were like already in like 2-3 shots because that's all you do.
Yep.
And so I ordered some food, some finger food for us, and we're just throwing darts, and we're all eating, just chilling, munching a bunch of finger foods, throwing darts, having a good ass time. No, it wasn't darts. It was the table
that punching
tennis.
machine.
It was
And wait. I'm thinking of a whole nother time.
yeah, it's the wrong one. We weren't throwing darts. It was table
Fight
tennis.
Club. Yeah, table tennis. Yeah, you're right. And it
Ping
was darts
pong.
in there. Yeah, ping pong, pretty much.
Ping pong. The correct word is table tennis, but yeah, ping pong.
Correct.
I love how we're listing all the hobbies you can do in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Oh shit, we need to add prostitution too, because that's what they did in the video game.
Yep.
What you do, D? Just chill in the corner and wait.
And then you get your money back.
No, you gotta drive around. You all gotta drive around.
Oh my god.
Find the right one.
And then the second you pay her, you get your goddamn money back.
Yeah, that game was fucking GTA. Talking about GTA, I still think it's like the number one. It's still considered the number one Rockstar game.
4 or just the series?
Just no GTA 5, right? Yeah, GTA 5 is like still the number one Rockstar game sold around, and I guess Rockstar thought with Red Dead and having their online, it wasn't surpass it. It never did, and they're still pushing out updates and new shit going through the game in the online mode. A lot. It's way more than what they're doing for Red Dead.
Yeah, but Rockstar's pretty good about they keep up the lifespan of their online for a long time.
Yeah,
They
because
definitely do.
GTA
They're not
5,
SOCOM here.
I think it's about what? GTA 5 is like how old already? I think it's like 6 to 8 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
And they're still pushing it.
GTA 5 came out in 2013. 7 years old.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was okay, cool. I was like right there.
Yeah. That's probably one of the best video games like ever produced. It's like that GTA has just created it created like this umbrella of other type of games and genres and stuff like that. And I don't think that GTA or Rockstar games, they really get the credit that they, deserve.
Yeah.
It's about people like sandbox, I think, more than people think.
Exactly.
Because with sandbox games, it's just more money for you.
And for the viewers, Mark, can you explain what a sandbox is for the viewers that don't know?
Sure. Wow, look at asking for clarification, D. Look at you getting all upscale.
I'm on point today.
If you've never played a sandbox game is essentially it's an open world concept where it's not necessarily like an MMO that has a bunch of people online in the world. It's more of a single player game in which the world is created around you, but as the player, you get to choose what you want. You get to drive the story forward at your own pace. You get to do your side missions at your own pace, things like that. So you're kind of in control in terms of like when you're logging on or loading up what you want to do, essentially.
Yeah. And think of a sandbox like an actual sandbox as a kid, how you created stuff, built things around whatever you were doing. Even in video games, they also allow that. Certain games also allow that as well, where, as Mark said, the story is driven by you and how you want to go for it. If you want to do the main story or you want to do side quests or even there's even other options to like, let's say for example, GTA. It's a GTA. Well, let's go with Assassin's Creed and how you're able to create have like certain shops like Assassin's Creed 2, open up banks and all this other stuff, buy gear or upgrade certain locations so you can make money in the game and do even more stuff. So yeah,
I'm surprised that Red Dead isn't like getting up there because I thought it was great, and there's like so much. There's probably like an equal amount to do than GT, like compared to GTA. So
yeah.
I like to be a cowboy, but that's just me.
I think with Red Dead, like it sold, but it didn't sell as much. And when it came to the online portion, they said that Red Dead wasn't have this similar online as GTA, but I think it just wasn't as popular, or it had the same issue as GTA Online when it first came out. Because when GTA Online first dropped, everybody just hated it. It was just horrible mess. It wasn't really much to do in there. You know, not many people had fun with it. And after a while, and after they added new features, updates, some nerfs and buffs, then it just fucking blew up. And now they have all these types of heists and there's heists, robberies, all types of extra shit.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I actually think that Red Dead isn't being as popular right now because of the games like Fortnite is pretty much just taking over. Mm-hmm. And Red Dead is definitely in the shadow of Fortnite and those type of games. At least I feel like.
Yeah. Because, you know, every popular game, and my thing is these free-to-play games are becoming more and more popular. So this is where I want to step in with the next generation. So we do know Xbox, what was it? Xbox Series X, dumbest name ever, and the PS5, right. Dumbest logo ever.
Oh my God.
It's the same logo.
Yeah, with a 5. Right. Some guy
Why is
actually,
that dumb?
Here's the funny thing, because that's all they revealed at the CES, and that pissed me off. But what had me laughing was one guy commented, because when you work in graphic design and everything, in order to get something pushed out, you know, you got to go through, you know, hundreds of meetings and huddles and follow-ups and emails and just to change a logo. Right. And some guy commented like, he goes, I just know these people spent hundreds of hours just to have the same logo and put a 5 next to it. And that, right. and the funny thing is that is true. So in my field of work, the company I work for is a financial company, was a financial marketing, or I don't know, financial company. But there's a huge thing on design. So I know when design comes around, that's a process. Mm-hmm. Right. And even if they want to do something small, like change the font or change a certain color, it needs to go through the necessary steps. Even though it's like, this shit is simple. Just boop, done. It looks better. But you got to go through this process. So I'm like, I know they had the same problem for the 5. They probably went through so many different designs. Maybe let's change the logo up. Nah, we'll keep the PS4 logo, but instead of the 4, we'll put a 5. And that 5, it looks to me out of place. Just to be honest.
It would never be right. But I guess here's one thing that, with designs and working with, you know, corporate companies and stuff like that, I guess what people have to realize is that with designs, you probably have a whole bunch of criteria that you have to follow in order for it to kind of fall under, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, so it's not like you could basically just freeball, you know, a logo or something. Yeah. It's going to be like a whole bunch of specific micro stuff. It has to be these many inches and... Yeah.
Oh
so
yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it needs to fall under a certain format, or it's like look at the company who really takes design over all else. Apple.
Yeah, 100%.
They take design over anything else, and for them, especially Steve, he would just push these people to the brink and make sure like the design of it, the look of it, it needs to look a certain way. Right. Like I never forget the conference when he introduced Mac OS 10 and how they were using what they called Aqua. He goes, the reason why we want to call it Aqua because when you look at it, you want to lick it because it looks like water. It looks like something like that. And that was the whole design conference, whole design concept. But even with me, it's like, okay, cool. It's good. It's great to have a design, but if you don't have the functionality behind it to help it flow, you have a shitty product.
But that's one thing that I also argue with Apple is pretty much. I believe that they chose design and aesthetics over necessarily, the quality of things in some ways.
Yeah,
They could have better
100%.
specs on this. They could have way better specs,
yeah.
but they just chose to have the aesthetics and the design more than the actual functionality of it.
But
But that's kind of their
I think
thing, though.
people care about both. I mean, it's hard
Mm-hmm.
to say. It's hard to say one is more important than the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you got some folks who build their own machines, like their own desktops, because they want to build it the way they want to design. They want it the way they want it. Then you got other folks who who are diehard, Samsung fans, Sony fans, Apple fans, whatever it may be, and that's because that design or the way it's set out is up to them. When I for another example of the design is if you guys look up the PS5, it's a leak design patent and how it's gonna look, and it is weird. It looks similar to
Yeah, I
like a
saw it.
trapezoid, right? You saw that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah.
a
It looks
trapezoid.
ridiculous.
And I saw that, I was like, that looks oddly out of place. But then again, the one that's the new with the PS4, how they look stacked, and then at an angle, a trapezoid angle that's stacked. I like that design, but this one, I think they said the design of it was for better airflow to cool off the system.
That would make sense. But I also want to speak on why they revealed the actual logo instead of the actual console itself. I don't think that they're fucking finished with it, to be real with you. I think that they're still working on this damn PS5 and trying to get everything going.
Yeah, also like it's very convenient that like the logo drops and then like designs drop like mysteriously it was like leaked.
Yeah,
Like you have
Right.
no like nobody like we're not gonna have any idea until like it straight up comes out.
Right. Or maybe they're trying to hide their design from Xbox, but I doubt that because they never hid their designs from Xbox in the first place. They just always just kind of did them. And I just kind of wanted to tackle what another person's argument would be, before they come up with it.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
but with Xbox, when they drop their stuff, it's an actual fucking box. It's a tower.
Right.
It's a rectangular tower. It was a rectangular cube, and it's to me is like what? My thing is like where are you gonna put this thing? Not everybody has a certain entertainment center where this box could be put to the side somewhere, or it could be put underneath somewhere. I feel like
Right.
this, like if you could lay on the side, okay, cool. Now you got a weird looking rectangle right there. I do like how it's compact, but to be honest, I want to actually see how big this thing is, just without seeing these stupid ass photos.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah,
looks
go ahead.
small,
hmm
but I want to see how it looks physically. Like standing next, I want to see this thing next to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, I want to see some 2020 shit. I want to see them do some Tesla cyberpunk version of like a PlayStation 5 type shit. Because
What are you trying to see, man? Like
I just want to see something innovative because there's a lot of issues that consoles have been dealing with since the beginning of time as far as, overheating and discs being scratched up and fucked up. And I just want them to just kind of rehaul it and take this opportunity to redo the air and ventilation system, make sure that the hot sinks is cooled down, make sure that we don't have any discs that could be like easily scratched up or anything. Like, let's just get rid of all of that shit.
Well, if you look at it, a lot in terms of these game systems, purchasing digital content is on the rise. It's going faster. So there will be a time where you could buy a console. Let's say a revised version of the PS5 is no disc at all. So there's no disc reader at all, and you just go ahead and download all your games and just play like that. So now you don't have to worry about a scratched up disc. they could change the design more since now they have extra space. They can make it even slimmer or change the design to be different or more efficient in terms of reducing the heat.
Faster processing speed. Bigger SSD.
Yep, and power wise, because since now you don't have a disk reader to run it, you just have the processor could focus more on all this other stuff, and even the power could focus more on just the system itself. So now there's less power being drained in terms of, without using a disk reader. But one thing I do like, and that was really, I think that was leaked, was the fact that PS5, same thing with Xbox, but the next gen are backwards compatible. And so you can play your PS4 and Xbox One X games on your new systems. But they were saying when you play on the PS4 games on the PS5, it runs faster. Loading speeds are just going to be super quick. So you won't worry about being stuck in certain areas or wait until the loading screen is done, that everything's going to shoot quickly, and there you go. The only thing you're going to have to wait to load is if you're playing certain online multiplayer games, and this is all based on your online, just your internet speed. Other than that, if you're playing a single player game with the new SSDs, loading screens will definitely be a thing of the past.
Yeah, but I actually thought of something as you were saying all of this tanking. Why do we need a console at all? All right, so just follow me as I come up with this idea.
You didn't even have to say much. I already see where this is going, but go ahead.
Wait. Can I ask a question before that?
Yeah, sure.
How much? Because we did the computer episode, Tank. How much, like, what's a normal amount of RAM, or what's a normal hard drive for like consoles like that you think are going to be? Like, you can guess.
Maybe 500 gigabytes or something.
No,
I'm not sure.
No way.
500 gigs. 500 gigs is like a gigabyte flash drive for you now. You can fill that bitch up in like 2 minutes, and you got to get another card.
Yeah, for context,
terabyte.
even that the Red Dead had 2 discs. One was just a download disc of the map and the world. That was about like 250 gigs alone.
Well, I guess I meant to say 500,000 gigs then, because of a whole terabyte.
5 terabytes. Yeah, 6 terabytes.
5 terabytes.
To be honest, these machines are definitely going to launch with SSDs, and they're going to be selling this at a loss. Sony's making their own, and it's a proprietary SSD compared to Xbox having a PCIe 4 SSD. But
Samsung makes like a pretty cheap one, like that you can just buy on the market right now.
Yeah, but a terabyte SSD is like in the hundreds.
Yeah. But that's okay if you're like upgrading from.
Yeah, that's okay. But with Sony, for the PS3 and the PS4, even the PS2, if you had it, you were able to use your own SSDs. I mean, your own hard drives. So you get able to upgrade them to whatever you want. But with Sony's PS5 and the leak, they're talking about they had cartridges. They're like, wait a minute, why are you going to have a cartridge and also a disc? Are we going to be able to play games on our cartridges? No. Those cartridges are upgrades of the hard drive, of their SSD. So they're probably going to charge double for the compared to the traditional SSD drives.
So a $600 console for 5 terabytes? Or 3 terabytes?
I believe they're going to launch with 1 terabyte, to be honest.
Okay.
I believe both are going to launch with 1 terabyte. And then after that, Sony's going to show off their new SSDs that you could upgrade. So like a 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever they're going to go ahead and announce. But those prices are going to be way higher
than the actual console.
And this is where Microsoft will win, because they're going to be using a traditional...
They already have their hardware systems, right, to make.
Yep. And if you want to upgrade their SSD to another one of your you're choosing, you're able to choose whatever from the market that's going to be cheap.
Makes sense.
Yep.
But I just wanted to go back, because I'm thinking of what the future of gaming is right now. And what I was about to say before was, why do we even need a console in the first place? And here's my idea. Just check me out. All right. So what if the system, the PlayStation 6 or something like that. It's just all software. And it's all based on like cloud storage and stuff like that. So you don't have to worry about how many gigabytes a video game is and things of that nature. And what if all you have to do is just download it like a Microsoft suite and then just have your controller and the thumb drive, plug that shit up to your smart TV, which you will have to have a smart TV to do now. Plug that shit up to the smart, TV and just play the goddamn game. Like, why do we need a console now?
Well, I'm gonna go with D. That is gonna be the future where you're able to stream games. It's been in the works for the longest. Mark, I believe you remember that. Remember when Key had his on live? Remember on live?
On live? No.
On live was pretty much like one of the first streaming servers that made it mainstream. It was a small little box. And I remember Key had it, and he was talking about how the latency was very low, and he was still to play games. It was the first streaming, you could say, service out there, and that was when it came out the same time, PS3, Xbox 360, and Wii. But streaming came way far then, but it still needs to, all the kinks and everything still needs to be worked out. That's why Xbox is throwing billions of dollars into their streaming service. Sony's doing the same. Sony's pushing their streaming service because the next system won't even be a system. It'll just be a service. So instead of the next PS5, next PS6 or whatever, the console's gonna be nothing. It's not gonna be a thing. It'll just be more. You could play on your smart TV. These smart TVs support this. All you gotta do is just buy a controller and you're good to go.
All right, and that controller would come with a thumb drive. You just plug that shit up, or have like a HDMI adapter or some shit.
Yeah, so it'd be like
to the TV,
like a Fire Stick,
Right.
or a Chromecast. Yeah. You just plug it into your TV and you just work on that, and that'll be like the new system because everything's gonna be streaming.
Good to go. Yep.
The only downside I have about that is the streaming service costs. So instead of paying for $500, $600, $700 for a console, which you know is yours and you can play whatever you want on it, with these services, you're going to have to pay a monthly fee to play these games.
And it's
not
probably
all of
going to
them.
be adding up to $600, $400 a year instead of one time.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Some, like Sony has theirs and Xbox has theirs, and where you pay for a subscription fee and you get these games like Netflix. Some of them are on rotation. So you get new games, whatever. Where others, like for example, Google Stadia, which is doing horrible, you still have the streaming service. You could buy the games on there, but you still got to pay for the service, pay for the games, and you can play them online. But here's my thing is, what if licensing goes off and next you know that digital game that you were playing on service goes away? D, how would you feel if you just got the Resident Evil fucking 10 and you're just like hyped for this and you played it, you beat it, you have a hell of a time, you want to play it again, next you know the licensing is done and you pay $60 for this game, but you can't play it no more. You just threw away $60 for a game you can't play anymore. That's the thing a lot of gamers just don't like, because it's not consumer friendly. If I buy a game, licensing is done, and I can't play it again, then what was the point of this service?
But I really think that you could create a workaround. And once again, I'm just creating this out of my ass right now. But, all right, let's just basically say something like, okay, so you do have to basically pay for a subscription on a monthly basis, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know, maybe $120 a year or something total. But then we could also include most of the video games. Like if you wanted to download a game, instead of it being $60, we can actually drive the cost down because it's just being downloaded. So we don't have to pay any physical thing, or do anything physically.
Yeah.
So what if we just make it like $5 or something like that for you to just download the game? Or what you could do is, which it wouldn't necessarily be profitable, but under the subscription, you could just let all of the games be free. All you will have to do is just download it.
Yeah. But here comes the problem.
Looking at the future. Yeah.
I understand, but here comes the issue currently. To take care of your server room, your data center, wherever the cloud is going to be stored at, no matter what, it's a physical area.
real estate,
Exactly.
fans.
What comes in is the cost of maintaining, repairing, well, just maintenance and space.
Right.
Until the time that maintenance could be cheapened and space could be used more effectively, cost is still going to be high. So us paying maybe $5 a month, that's a dream right there. If I could pay $5 a month for, streaming all types of games, playing any games like PS5 and have very little to no latency at all, enjoying these games and without need a console to take up space in my entertainment center, I'm cool. But the fact that the costs are pretty high is because of that. Somewhere, someplace in, middle of America, in order for me to play these Xbox games or PlayStation games, it comes with the cost and real estate. Well, the maintenance and real estate, and especially upgrades and all this other stuff. Cool, I don't have to upgrade my console. Cool, I don't have to update the game and waste more time. The game is already updated. The console's already updated. Servers already updated. The maintenance, all this stuff is cool. It's there. All these features, amazing. But still comes the cost. This is why they're still launching consoles, and this is why a lot of gamers are switching over to PC and build their own thing because they want a physical copy somewhere. They don't want to be able to be stopped all because they couldn't play a certain game due to licensing. We're not paying to own games anymore. A lot of these people who are buying digital, they're paying just to license the game. And once the licenses are up because some bullshit between, the PlayStation, between the retailer and the designer and the licensing, whatever. It's like, bro, what if Madden? What if just the NFL said, fuck you, EA, we don't want you to create our games anymore. And D, you own Madden 2025, and now you can't play no more because you had it digitally. The licenses are done. Now you can't play online. You can still play single player or physical too, but now you can't play online against nobody because the licenses are done. The servers are shut down. That's it. It's end of story. Now you just wasted $60 on a game that you can't do this anymore. Versus where, if you got it on a PC, licenses are done, but you can still build your own little server and then still play online against other people. Because you built your own server, you did this on the back end, and now people who are doing the same shit, you could jump into a server room and play Madden against them. Even though NFL's told EA, we're done with you, stop with our games, EA needs to stop because licenses are done. They don't want to get into legal fucking shit. And now the consumer in the end, it's shit. And that's because the consoles don't give you that chance to do customized servers and all this other stuff. Look at PlayStation Home. That fucking game went out that fucking thing went out the window because when Sony turned off the servers, that was it. If it was on the PC side of things, people would create their own servers so people could connect and still have that game living. Even though Sony don't support it, the consumers are now supporting it themselves. Same thing goes with certain games. There's games that came out for PC that also came out for consoles, but for consoles, they're dead. But for PC, they're still running, all because people could create their own servers and join in. Look what happened to Warcraft. Warcraft never offered the option to go through the vanilla version. The very first time it came out, gamers there built their own servers, providing this service. People joined in, and it was all free of cost, all because they loved the vanilla version of it and not this new one. Blizzard told them this is not what you want, whatever BS. They saw a drop in their population. Well, they saw a drop in their player count and also money. So they brought back vanilla servers themselves, and then it went back up.
Yeah, but once again, well, I guess what everything in life is going to always have its pros and cons. You know?
It's nothing's going to be all
pros. Basically, point out we could point out a flaw in anything in life. I feel like,
Oh yeah.
True.
But the question is do the pros outweigh the cons? And if we had all of that streaming shit figured out, and all you had to do was just plug up your controller to your damn TV and play the game, and have access to video games at a lower price at the cost of not necessarily owning it but having a license, I think it'd be worth it if they get the latency and all of the other factors together. I feel like it would be worth it to do a subscription or something like that.
But maybe to some people it might, as consumers, that's your loudest voice is your dollar. So some people might not be down for that.
Right. and which is fine. You know, if they choose not to, then you know you rework that shit and try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was basically, you know, the CEO of, you know, a console, I would try to have that idea, but I would also have the subscription option as well as just having just a full price of like, hey, listen, you could just do the monthly subscriptions, or you could just buy it at at this lump sum, and
Yeah.
then you just ain't got to worry about it. So I think that's what the options will have to be. It's like $600 now, or you could pay, you know, I don't know, $12.99 a month or some shit like that. I don't know.
We shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. All right, this is getting juicy. Mark, what you want to talk about? You know, we bullshitting today. We podding today.
We podding today. I don't know. I was enjoying the combo. What did you want to bring up? You go first.
Oh, sure. Well, you know, I love finances, so all right. So one of my buddies I used to work with, I'm not gonna say her name or anything like that, but she basically had a message on her feed on Facebook saying that she wanted to get into stocks and stuff like that, but she didn't know what the hell was going on and how to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm reading the comment section, and I'm just looking like these motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they talking about. They telling her just some crazy wild shit that's gonna make her lose all her goddamn money. So I was just like, hey, I got 14 plus years of experience, you know, in messing with stocks and stuff like that. What questions do you have specifically? So hop in the DMs asking all of these questions. But what I realized was that when we try to figure something out, we'll give you somebody's general ass question, but we don't really know specifically what we want to know. So for example, she said she wanted something that is a good investment. So I said, what is a good investment? And what do you all think a good investment is? Just off the top of your head.
Well, it's relative, right? It's something that makes, in my opinion, it's something that makes you money while you are doing something else
I would say,
consistently.
I would say
I mean,
investing in.
I'm young enough to need.
Oh, go ahead, Tank.
I would say investing into big dick pills.
Right. Speaking of big dick pills, that is our today's sponsor.
Today we're sponsored by Magic Stick.
Right.
Go ahead.
But when people think of what's a good investment, they just think like profits and, you know, the most that they can make. So what do y'all think about that before I get into it?
Well, like, depends on your situation, right? If you're trying to like grow wealth, or you're trying to like sustain wealth, or you're trying to, maybe you just want an extra $20 to pay for your Netflix every month. You know, there's a way to do that. You have to. I think it depends on the person.
Yep.
No.
For me, depending on seeing how the market is going, and even watching shit from the past few weeks, we've been on a slow and steady incline. So people who think by playing with the market and seeing how much money they can make, you know, right now, a lot of folks are in the now. I want to make $1 million right now. If I'm gonna invest $1,000, I want to make $1 million right now. It ain't gonna happen. And the mindset is you need to be in the long game. You can't be in here for the short term. Even though you have that option to invest short term, yeah, cool. But you're not gonna make no $1 million by investing $1,000 into stocks in like a month or two.
Right. And I kind of brought that up because whenever I typically ask people what's a good investment, everybody unanimously, they'll just pretty much just talk about, you know, they just want to make the most money, and that's what a good investment is. So then, you know, being the asshole that I am, I'll be like, all right, cool, let's do a fucking diamond heist, right? You know, we could probably get millions of dollars in one large sum. It's a great investment because the cost is low because all we need are weapons, right? All we need are weapons, maybe a car to drive and get away with it, and some bags to carry diamonds and some shit, right?
Yeah.
But when people think of good investments, they don't think about the calculated risk factor, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that people need to recognize, because we can say that a diamond heist is profitable. However, there are some risks that comes with that shit, you know? You know, like if you get caught, you're probably getting like 100 years in prison.
Yeah, I think armed robbery is about what, depending on which state and country you do a diamond heist with, diamond heist. But depending on that, I think the average is about maybe armed robbery, 30 to 40
20,
years.
25. What? No way.
It depends. I want to say armed robbery, and if you kill somebody, okay,
Right.
let's say 20. Let's say about 20 to 40 years, depending on the case, what happened, and where it happened.
Right. But
True.
then just the risk, it's the risk worth it, you know? Because you could get away. Maybe you have a team of 5. Let's just say that you can make 100 grand by doing this. Breaking in, you may have to kill a security guard or something like that. But if you get caught, you might get 30 to 40 years. All right, is it worth the risk? Mark, what do you think?
No, not at all. I need way more than that, bro. California is expensive.
All right, what about you, Tank?
I like my freedom.
Right. But when we look at it from like a fucking diamond heist, you know, we look at all of these factors. But when it comes to actual investments, you know, with stocks and bonds and stuff like that, we don't actually look at the risk factors that come with it. And well, I was pretty much trying to explain to the person that I was talking to about investments and stuff on Facebook was pretty much, it was like, you have to know what risks that you are afraid of the most, so then you could then mitigate that. Because I see a great investment as it's a 2-part thing. It's one is, what's the most profitable option that you could do, or that you could receive, while mitigating the risk that you are most concerned with. And that's pretty much my definition of what a good investment is. So I guess for any viewer out there, you have to realize what risk are you concerned with, and then you try to find the most profitable way of getting it done.
Can I add some input? I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, I had $1,000 I wanted to invest right now.
Right.
In my mind, instead of investing into like Facebook and all like tech or major companies or financial companies, would it be best to have a safe investment, a very safe and conservative investment within like certain places that sell goods that you know it's always being used? So, for example, if I put a couple dollars into Clorox, or I put a couple dollars into Johnson & Johnson, or what's another major one? Like food. So let's say Pepsi.
Right.
I know for a fact with Clorox, everybody buys cleaning supplies, no matter under the Clorox brand. People buy baby wipes, Pampers, whatever under, or shampoos and oils under Johnson & Johnson, even though they got a shitty pharmaceutical division.
Right.
And same thing with like Pepsi. Pepsi owns a lot of food and drink products. So by me investing in Pepsi, would you say that that's like having that type of view in investing? It's not going to be a big turnout, but it's going to be a nice, slow, steady turnout, right?
Not necessarily, because all right, so when you're buying individual stocks, your main risk that you're going to have to pretty much deal with is total loss.
Yeah.
And for the viewers out there, total loss pretty much means if a company goes under, and if they just go to zero and it just no longer exists, like Enron or something like that, you lose all of your profits.
Okay.
Like everything is gone. So yeah, and also if you were to do that same type of investment short and long term, depending on if it's short or long term, you also have different risk factors too, and that risk factor is volatility. So if you're only going to invest in a short time frame, and for the viewers out there, short term means within 5 years. 5 years is considered short term. So if you invest in the short term, volatility is one of your highest risks, and volatility means the market is going up and down pretty much.
Yeah.
So within that time frame, if you want to make, like, let's say that you just wanted to invest some money in there 5 years and just come out with a lot of money on top, but it's like there are factors because you don't know how the market is how it's gonna react. And what if you just put your money in there, and then within that 5 years there's a recession, and then it starts bringing down your funds and stuff like that. But long term in general, even though I don't like to really promote, like, which way you should do it. I just rather prefer giving people the option. But if you do it long term, then the risk factor of volatility it mitigates it like maybe 97% of the time, unless it's like a big drastic hit in the economy. So like I said, it depends on the risk factor. But if there's somebody with $1,000 out there right now, I would actually not I wouldn't go into an individual stock. Yeah. And here's why. According to Warren Buffett's stake, all right, so Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett is the CEO, and every year he has to write a letter to his shareholders.
Yeah.
And the shareholder letter in 2012, he was basically talking about what would he do if he was a non-professional investor. And what he was basically explaining to people in that letter, which you all could look at it, Google it, it's in the PDF file. Anybody has access to it. It's like 24 pages. But what he was basically explaining was an S&P 500 index, which is, I'll even explain this for everybody. An S&P 500 stands for Standards & Poor, and that is an index that tracks the successes and the failures of the top 500 companies in America. And by having that index fund, according to Warren Buffett, you will beat and outperform most actively managed funds and individual stock gains, depending on the situation, within 5 to a 10-year time frame. So if a person had $1,000, I would just go with an index fund that replicates the S&P 500. Because if you look at the S&P 500, if you look at the success rate, so in the past 60 years, it has always went up within increments of 5 years. So no matter if it was a recession or anything, it bounces back within the 5-year time frame. So that's what I would do. But once again, I don't like promoting shit. I just kind of like to give people the information so they could just, figure it all out on their own. But that's what I would do if I was somebody that didn't really know too much about it. I'd probably go with an index fund.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Also, Warren Buffett a few years back, he had $1 million bet with this with one of these active managers. So he bet him $1 million that he wasn't going to outperform the S&P 500 within a 10-year time frame. So does 10 years happen maybe like 3 years ago, and Warren Buffett won the bet? That actively managed person could not outperform the S&P 500 in a 10-year time frame. He couldn't.
That's cool. I wonder. That's crazy.
Yeah, but not a lot of people even know about index funds, right? They don't even know what S&P 500 is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all you see is just like Nas down and S&P, but even I don't know much about it. I know, what is it? Doesn't Nasdaq is mostly tech, or is that Dow? Dow Jones is mostly tech.
Yeah, it's mostly tech. Nasdaq is mostly like tech. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
And what was you about to say, Mark?
No, that was great advice. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
no problem.
They gonna make me open up in a fucking account and start investing my money that my tax returns. Talking about, all right, start investing, get some shit. 5 years later, I'm gonna fucking murder you, D.
Well, I'll put it this way. So, I got hired at my job in August, and my retirement is an S&P 500 index fund. And so far, I'm trailing to be 20% up in total.
Yeah.
So that's just from August till now. So I'm up 20%.
6 months.
Yeah. With 20%, not bad. Not a bad return.
Not at all.
But once again, that fund is the top 500 companies in the U.S. So what happens is, if Johnson & Johnson falls, like back to your example, Tank, they will fall out of the S&P 500, and then somebody else will take their place. You see what I'm saying? You see kind of how that works? Yeah.
Yep.
So then you avoid total loss. And that's one of my main concerns is total loss.
Yeah.
You can't mitigate it 100%, because if the economy falls, it's nothing you could do at all, you know.
Yeah.
But if a couple of companies fail and you own an index with 500 of the top companies, it's not even going to even affect you that much. It's
Yeah.
only just going to get pulled out, and then others will come back in.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So knowledge, no.
Dropping in now, just get that. That's what the more you know. Remember that one?
Right. Yeah. The more you know. Oh, and I have one more crazy thing to say because I love talking about this shit.
Let's go.
All
Of
right.
course.
All right, so every year Wall Street like meets with each other, and you could pay $5,000 in U.S. dollars or whatever to go there and shit like that. And what they would do is, so they kind of have like this competition amongst all of the top, active managers and shit like that for
Yeah.
portfolios and stuff like that. So last year, what they actually did was, all right, so they had everybody predict how the market was going to be for the next year, and they had to basically put a newspaper on a wall and then shoot darts at it. And whatever the dart hit was it was kind of like they was fighting against the dart. So they have their prior knowledge versus whatever stock the dart hit or whatever. And the dart smoked every fucking body by having the most correct or having the most like capital gains and all the other shit, They all got killed by this goddamn dart.
That's hilarious. We gotta get really good at darts. That's what I've learned from this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Right. But imagine they've probably been doing that shit for 20 years and they can't beat, the gains of a goddamn random dart being thrown at a newspaper.
Right.
So that just goes to show you, I say, man, I don't want to promote index funds, but figure out what works for you, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right. And if you lose money, please
Email D.
email D
Just
at
D.
Yeah, definitely email me.
email D
Yeah,
at
definitely.
elfcake at whatever gmail whatever right .com, or just send them death threats.
Yeah, death threats definitely work. Also, if you do give me a death threat, wait until like 5 years if you get the fund. You gotta have it for a little while. You can't just be like, "Oh, I got it today, and tomorrow I lost $3." It's like, nah, motherfucker, hold that shit for like 5 to 10 years, and if it doesn't work out, give me all the death threats that you want.
That's very sweet of you.
I'll take it.
Then that's when you hit them with I see why your investments don't work out. You don't even last long in relationships, bro.
Wow,
Right.
that was a low.
Yeah.
I'll take it. We potting today, so it's okay.
Biden. Oh man. What about you, Mark? What
I
you
think
want to talk
that's,
about?
I just enjoy listening to you guys, honestly. I can't even think of anything right now. Tech and games, or tech and investing, I feel better. There was nothing wrong with me, but I feel better.
Yeah.
I think we should close it out here.
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's close.
Can I close it out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, open and close, my friend.
There we go. Let's do this shit. All right, y'all. So if y'all like what we talked about today, please download the podcast. Please share it with other people. Please please comment, give us some interaction because, we take a lot of time out of our days, to try to get everything together. We have to set up our mics and cameras, and we have people, Mark is in a different state. So it takes a lot in order for us to coordinate everything. So, just support us. Let us know that you support us so we could, create better content in the future, stuff like that. And that's all I'm going to say. And
Thank you so much for listening to the Competent Nerds.
Peace.
Peace.